Hello, VeeFam. We're back. I'm Rob, Mr. Messer, and I have a very special guest with us today. I'm with tech team from VeeFriends, Mr. Cam Stewart. Cam, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
So pumped to have you. You know, I don't know. Well, we'll get into it, but I heard rumblings from the early days that there were some team members in Charleston, where I'm from, and I was like, wow, I got to get on this, and I kind of did some digging, never really got too far, and then Gary posts this tweet where about doing something in Charleston and kind of attracted everyone in the area. So I was like, all right, like I'm gonna really pin down these guys, and I was so lucky to connect with you and have you in our local group and everything. So
Yeah, man.
before we get into it, can you just give us kind of the I ask people just like a 55-second background on who Cam
Okay.
is and
Wow.
what you're all about pre NFTs.
Oh, pre NFTs. Okay. Yeah, would love to. Cam Stewart, live in Somerville, South Carolina, just outside of Charleston. And I work for VeeFriends full time. That's my job. It's difficult when people ask you what you do and you have to explain what you do in VeeFriends. We were actually just talking about that. I think Andy tweeted about it, but
I saw that. Yes.
trying to figure out a short way to say if they don't know NFTs and they don't know Gary, it's pretty difficult. So that's what I do full time. I also coach wrestling at Somerville High School. Love to do that. Um, and then yeah, have a wife and two kids, and we love it here and love working for VeeFriends.
Amazing. I didn't know you were in the wrestling scene.
Yeah.
I was a late bloomer. I didn't get until high school, and then
Okay.
it takes a couple years to get your legs and
Yeah.
get your feel for the mat. And I once I peaked, it was graduation time, and that was it for me. I never never
Totally.
dabbled in the college circuits, but it's an
I
amazing
love it.
sport, and I'm already
Yeah.
getting my kids into it. Kid
Oh,
slash kids, soon to
yeah.
be.
Plural times two.
Yeah. Amazing. So, I know there's I know there's an interesting story, a connection, and like any job, most people get their jobs based on who they know. But if you don't mind us taking us to the story of how you ended up in whatever you were doing before into this world we call VFriends.
Yeah. So I was a software engineer at US Bank, um, and followed Gary for quite a bit of time, just watching his content. And about I think it was like March before the Series One launch, he sent out a tweet that said, "Who's the best?" I'll have to find the tweet, but I think it's "Who's the best front end developer?" I think is what he said, and I replied and tagged one of my best friends, Eric Zetterston, and said, "It's Eric Zetterston. It's not even close." And then instantly, or not instantly, but around that time, uh, Gary liked the tweet, followed Eric, um, and Eric calls me and he's like, "What do I do?" Like, Gary liked the tweet, followed the tweet, asked for a developer. How do I follow up with that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I just felt like tagging. I don't even know why I tagged him. So then Eric realizes or remembers, hey, a guy I went to elementary school with works for Gary Vee. So he's like, let me call him. So he calls Andy Kranek, El Presidente. Not El Presidente at the time. Eric calls him and says, "Hey, no, you haven't talked in a while, but looks like Gary needs a developer. Would love to help." And Andy goes, "Actually, I have no idea what Gary's talking about. Let me get with him tomorrow." And off. And so, like 2 days later, we're in the room and on a conference call, and Eric and I are basically the development team for Series One.
The tech team
Yeah,
that's going to launch this.
yeah.
Amazing. And on the calendar, I'm sorry, but I just want to get real clarity on this. Where are we? Oh, you said February?
I think March. Yeah,
Okay.
I could find it pretty quick on my Twitter, but yeah, I think it was March before the May. So
Man,
what are we in 2022? So yeah, I think March of 21.
that's unbelievable. And I heard after all the meetings, this is I think I heard this right in an Andy interview. Eric or you and Eric was quoted like $1,000 to do the original website. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we were we were slightly slightly misguided. We didn't really know all that was in store. Um,
That's amazing.
yeah,
So
we undershot by just a little bit.
so let me just to for some context, I want to take a quick step back. You said Gary was on your radar. You were listening to him working, a corporate gig. Were you the kind of Gary verse person that was really like the entrepreneurial, like motivational content? Did you like the character side of him? What kind of attracted you to Gary and that his content?
Oh man, that's a great question. Um, I really gravitate towards the positivity that he puts out, um, and it's pretty hard not to get sucked into his as I think maybe more typically males get brought into the way he delivers that thing. But yeah, just the positivity and patience and kindness, and I loved thinking about adding that to but just business and life in general. And I would say like semi entrepreneurial, but not to the point where like I hated my job and I was trying to grind on the side. Um,
Gotcha.
I just thought it'd be cool to do a little side project for someone as cool and as impactful and as Gary Vee.
And which I mean, it was a nice move to make. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it panned out.
so going into this, I gotta ask. I'm gonna assume no because most people didn't. Did you have any idea what an NFT was?
I did not. I mean, I had done a little bit of stuff with just read some stuff and watched video. I just like technology in general, so I understood at a very 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 high level about crypto and blockchain and Ethereum, but no, I would not say like if someone would have asked me, "Can you explain NFTs?" I would have done a very poor job. I would have been able to say, "I've heard of them." So
So you get brought in, you and Eric as the team, and like so for the initial meeting, like how many people are at the table? Like when they're laying this out, because it's February, March, and the thing had a May 5th
yeah,
target date.
sorry, sorry, we didn't get there. Yeah, there are a handful of people from there's some VeeFriends side. Then Nameless or NFT 42 was there. They were on the contract side, and then yeah, Eric and I as the development team. So it was a smaller crew, but yeah, it was fun. It was a fun project to work on.
And boiled down to its simplest terms, I mean, you can get into whatever technical jargon you feel like or don't feel like if you have synonyms, but what were you asked to do?
Great. Yeah, just basically just to build an e-commerce type website for Series One, right? You know, up until that point, and even now, a lot of projects when they drop, it's the landing page with the big connect wallet button, and then you mash the mint button, and anyone who's familiar with VeeFriends realizes that doesn't work for a collection like VeeFriends, right? You wanted to be able
Right.
to pick your character, pick the rarity. You couldn't just mint and then reveal and say, oh, you got randomly, got the kind kudu like your shirt or something like that. So we built, just a pretty Web two, I guess, e-commerce site, with the catalog and the searchability and all that stuff, and then um, obviously all the payment and the processing and all that stuff was Web 3.
And from the point that you entered, were the tiers and all the access tokens, was all that set, or was it just
Oh,
kind of a skeleton idea of what was gonna
that's a
come?
good question. That's a good question. I don't remember. I just remember a lot of hard work, a lot of late nights, and a lot of just head down. And then stuff would come in, changes would come in, new image, whatever, fill in the blank. Um, yeah, there were a lot of moving pieces, but I don't necessarily remember exactly in the process where we were. It was a blur. That whole couple of months was a blur.
It feels like an eternity ago for anyone, I'm sure,
I know,
especially
right? Yeah.
especially you. It's funny. I just tweeted out. I was like, you know, P.S. I forget how I worded it, but I was like, by the way, like book games. It's 2022. Book games launched this year.
Yeah,
Book
that's right.
games feels
People,
like five
yeah,
years ago.
I know it's like
It's
old,
just
old and
it's
ancient,
an
right?
I know it's unbelievable. So this is cool. So you're brought in as contractors essentially. Like you're not as employed by VeeFriends yet.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, we worked for we still worked for US Bank.
Gotcha. So you and Eric are kind of head down with this. Are you enjoying it? Where you're like, did you see the vision? Like,
Um
what was your train of thought, or was it just like
I
we got
would
to get this
say,
done?
yeah, I would say super tunnel vision. I really enjoyed interacting with Andy, and Gary, everyone on the team. I'd say that's like there's some very fond memories of some late nights with Google Hangouts. And Jimmy.eth,
Yep.
the famous tweeter of NFT 42, and Bart, and just some really really great people that we got to work with. But yeah, I'd say for the most part it was just like laser focus, tunnel vision on we got to get this thing done by May 5th, and we did not. We
And
got
was
close, but we didn't.
yeah, I mean, the buildup was to May 5th, and Gary was very transparent, um, very ahead of his time in that regard too. Just the transparency, and that's just his mo. So it probably comes natural, as opposed to some of the other projects out there. So was that like internally? Was that a big deflation, or was it just like what was the taste
Yeah.
of the room?
Yeah, I think anytime you don't hit a goal, there's just like it sucks, especially with someone you look up to, like Gary. It's like you're letting down your dad a little bit.
Right.
Um, that same feeling, but no, it was great. He was great throughout the whole process. He multiple times, which I really appreciated. He would say like we would say something about technology, and maybe we used a little newer jargon or something he wasn't familiar with, and he would just say, "Okay, educate me. Like, what what did you just say?" As opposed to just like, "All right, cool. Let the tech guys do their thing." But um, was always trying to learn and figure out what it is that we were doing.
So in the dirt, as he
Yeah.
preaches.
Yep.
That's great to hear. That's really fantastic. Um, and with that, on that same kind of point, he's in a lot of his content, he talks about giving people a lot of leash to just kind of run with and make it their own. And I'm sure, I don't know, I can't speak to Andy, although I looking forward. He's actually coming on the show next week.
Nice.
Um,
Just
so
just got just got off a call with him.
so I'll be able to ask him. But were there components in these early days where it's like, okay, this is what I want, and you and Eric, or you and or Eric took that and kind of made something your own that is still true today?
Yeah, I think he's very he was very hands on with it. So it was a lot of throughout the process is like, hey, this is what we have, and if we just like showed him on a Google Hangouts, he'd be like, no, 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 I need to like get in there, click it, mess with it. So a lot of like MVP type stuff, minimum viable product, for if you don't know what MVP stands for. Um, but a lot of that, and then he would mess with it, and then send it back to us. But yeah, very very involved, and because I mean, from hearing the way he talks about VeeFriends, you could imagine how involved he was, and how like as this wasn't just as everyone knows now, but it wasn't just going to be like a one and done website or a one and done NFT project, but it's the 40, 50, whatever, fill in the blank between 40 and 50 years, depending
Yep.
on which
50,
piece of
we'll go with
content.
55.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's caught, obviously he's got a huge following. The educational onboarding process was executed. I still don't know if anyone has done it. I'm not educated enough on the whole space at large to know if anyone educated and onboarded a community at that scale in such a nice segmented way as they did. So there was just a ton of buzz, sold out in uh, 2-3 weeks, I think, was
Yeah.
the
Towards
final
the end of May, I think was the last one, the last
three
core.
weeks. ETH is pumping, right? And it was just great to clubhouses, and then Twitter Spaces, Instagram accounts, like, and just not knowing what this thing was, except no one built up hype like Gary, and then
Yeah.
just like finally looking at that site was like, holy shit, like what is this gorilla? And like, oh, we get to
Yeah,
have breakfast with Gary, and like 18 gifts. Like that's insane. Like,
yeah,
so there was just so much excitement. And then, just obviously Web3 was just pumping at that time. Uh, like we said, it feels like an eternity ago, but
that
just
is wild.
amazing stuff. So you get, I thought I had, is it, oh, here we go. So on July 21st, 2021, you tweeted first day at VeeFriends, let's go. And you tagged Andy and Eric. Uh, let's go to that moment. Like, how were you expecting it? Did it come out of nowhere? How pumped were you?
Yeah, I was excited. Yeah, after kind of the dust settled on the launch, and we fell asleep for a little bit. Yeah, they offered to for us to come on full time with VeeFriends, and yeah, I was excited to build, be a part of something that's building, and it felt like uh, the combination of Gary's track record, his entrepreneurial spirit, his vision, and then also just Web3 in general. Like it felt like a no brainer um, move in terms of like professionally to come on VeeFriends. So yeah, I was me, Andy, Eric, were some of the first hires of VeeFriends.
That's, I mean, historically, that's going to be, I mean, part of my whole project with doing this podcast is to be able to document all of the amazing historical components of this as we kind of go deeper on the timeline. And, you know how fast things are
Yeah,
moving. I
can
think it's
document how stupid I was for not buying more VeeFriends.
well, we'll get into that. But was it and just for clarification for the audience, I know you work remotely. Is that kind of widespread? Is VeeFriends, is it a
It's a good
remote
question.
option, hybrid? How does that?
Yeah, we have some people that work out of the Hudson Yards office in New York, but I would say yeah, vast majority we're pretty flexible and remote. Most
Got
of
it.
I think the entire tech team is remote. I think. Yeah, that's right.
So at that time of July 2021, when you come on full time, is book games a thing? Is it an idea? Maybe it's not called book games, but was that on your radar? Like, hey, this is coming.
That's also a good question. It's hilarious that I can't remember a year ago. Um, I don't remember, honestly. I just remember like the back half of 2021 being like the book game sprint.
Like,
Um,
P.S. Like, we're doing another
yeah,
100,000 tokens.
yeah, 120. Yeah, I kept calling it. I don't know if this is true. I'm not a Web3 historian or fact checker, but we kept calling it the world's largest airdrop. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is, but it's got to be close.
So I imagine you and Eric are the point people on that too, collaborating with people elsewhere.
Yep. Yeah. It was us, and then with the Immutable X team was who we coordinated with there.
Gotcha. And I know it's foggy, but was there any one particular story, anecdote? And actually, like, I'm sure along the way, and maybe this isn't book games related, I'd be really interested in hearing like an oh fuck moment that almost happened. Like, you're cool talking about it now, but back then, like, shit almost hit the fan.
um, yeah, I don't know about almost. I mean, it definitely hit the fan a lot, as most of the people have. Um, I mean, when we first launched VeeFriends Series One website, it didn't work. Um, not the May 5th, but like the actual launch, and that was 99.99. That's 100%. It was on me. I did it. I had a setting wrong on our backend server, but yeah, that was just like such a build up. We're gonna do this. We're finally gonna launch. May 11th. I think May 11th was the launch date, and then it was like, oh, it broke. But then it worked, and everybody got their NFTs.
And how was that handled? Were you like
I
accountable aunt and like,
Yes,
guys, it fucked up? Gotcha.
yep, I was thankfully, and then I mean, you could probably go back and read Gary's tweets. It's probably like Website's rebuilding. Give it a second. Yeah, the hard part when we first started was like we're making a website with, and it's hard to mimic or test well the reach at which Gary has.
Right.
It's hard to load test at that scale. Um,
That's a really
and
good point for someone that's not in what you do. Like
yeah,
a lot of people are utilizing this all at the same time.
yeah. For instance, if he puts a if he puts a swipe up on his Instagram story that goes out to whatever 4 million people, or I don't know how many followers he has, something like that. But if a good percentage of those do the swipe up, that's 4 million concurrent users. That's hard to, from all over the world, hard to
Right.
replicate. Um, but yeah, that's probably the biggest one. That's probably the biggest mess up.
And well, I appreciate you sharing that. And I think it's a great lesson for anyone doing anything, UI, UX, anything across the board. Just like this is like what bigger stage to have a story to share of this, and you're here telling it. You survived.
I did. I
Um,
made it. There's a guy. Actually, there's a dude. I don't know why I think it's a guy. I'm just calling it a dude who minted on Mintable the error page, and I have it
oh,
saved.
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Actually, I saved it. One of these days I'm going to buy it, but he's got it for like it's like $300. But anyway, I look at it occasionally.
That's a
Remember.
really fun fact. So we have all these things that happened through 2022. Now, throughout this process, the community is getting more. The teams rounding out. Um, at what point is there like do you find like a steady flow chart in terms of getting like community feedback, if at all, or is it just Andy to May and those community people, and they kind of make tweaks to you guys? I'd be interested in, without prying too much in your processes,
Yeah,
like how does that work?
I think we we just I would just say our team. I believe our team does a very good job of just reading as much as we can. Um, Discord, Twitter. If it's like an obscure reply on a tweet that not the whole team would see, share it out or. Um, but yeah, just trying to. It's unlike anything I've ever been a part of, right? Where like most people in their jobs don't get instant feedback from thousands and thousands of people, and by instant I mean instant.
Yep.
Um, so you work hard, you don't sleep, you push something, and then it's like this sucks, this is broken, this is great, this is the coolest thing ever, we're so excited, book games, whatever the sentiment is. It's just strange. It's unlike. I don't know if anyone. I don't know a comparable. I don't know if there's a comparable. Maybe like celebrity like LeBron James gets it, but I don't know if he reads all the tweets.
Maybe just maybe, but here you have, you know, I don't know what the Discord's up to. Is it up to 300? I don't.
Yeah, last time I
I
checked it was, but I feel like it fluctuates a little bit. It's a lot. It's a lot of people.
You have a lot of people, and you have very engaged, passionate people, and it is nice to have that overlay of kindness and empathy as the blanket to kind of filter this. For the most part, I would imagine, constructive criticism. I'm
Yeah,
sure, you have your people, we all have seen them in the Discord and Twitter, and you're always going to
yeah,
have some of those. But for the most part, I imagine it's, everyone has the same end goal. Like they just want VeeFriends to be the best. So it's, my gut feeling was that everyone kind of had a pulse on it, because I see, the more I've learned about you and Eric, you guys are out there in Discord and Twitter and things like that, and that's amazing, and not a lot of people are doing that.
yeah.
So
It's fun.
overall, is there like one big learning you've had working in this kind of Gary ecosystem?
It's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. You're a good interviewer. Um,
Appreciate it.
one big working. I would say just that the stuff Gary talks about works. That like that I convinced through not just this job but all lots of other stuff, um, that like kindness, empathy, compassion, patience, humility, optimism, uh, works. And not only does it work, like I think it's the way that we were that we were designed to live.
Mm.
Like I think you can try the other stuff and you will be left feeling at some point, right? It might work for a little bit. You could be a really terrible boss and yell at people, and that you could probably get some stuff done. But at some point, I think without those other things, you'll end up feeling pretty empty, burnout, fill in the blank. But yeah, I just think it's the way that life was designed to be lived.
It makes so much sense. Like, I haven't been following him as long as a lot of the people that are in this community, but long enough to know that he boils down to the same handful of things that he's saying over and over, that you just are so simple. You feel like there's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
a
you
few
you want the
ingredients
like
that you need
right,
to add to it, but at the end of
yeah.
the day, it's so simple. So for as far as internal communications, do you have like a scheduled 5-10 minute Zoom with him as a team, or is it just Andy?
You mean in terms of meetings?
Yeah, like for a potential like little Gary speech like that. Is there anything on the books internally that you guys have that?
No, it just varies. It varies. I mean, we meet together as a team a lot. It depends on the projects who's on it. But I would say, yeah. I mean, we hang out a good bit, but that's getting increasingly more difficult as the team continues to grow.
Sure. And where is the tech team? I mean, it started with you and Eric, and
Yeah,
what's today? November 11th, 2022. How
yeah.
big is the tech team
Great
full
question.
time?
I'm not sure. I'm looking at my Slack right now. Um, we are growing, which is awesome. I'd say. Let's see, I need to count everybody. Um, Maybe 10ish, something like that.
Wow. So like all of the departments just on the
Yeah, which
up and
is
up.
helpful.
All right. So moving on in our kind of timeline here, on
Yeah,
April 18th, 2022, Tyler D, I should say, from social media tweeted out, just wanted to show love to the VeeFriends tech team, straight up warriors the past 2 weeks, and it was inspiring to watch. Really enjoyed being part of the Series 2 launch today and to see their hard work come to fruition. Shout out to them. And that brings us to this whole new chapter.
Series
Um,
2.
Speaking of more NFTs,
Yeah,
here comes Series
yeah,
2. So much, it's just talk about a moment in time with so much excitement in the community. That's, I definitely March. I don't know if it was early February, but March and April of 2022. So much excitement with the reveals and the teases and just the free Series 2, and then here comes the friends list. So from the community standpoint, for if you held the V1, you were set, right? You were
yeah,
getting that V2. But I remember there was a sense of angst in the community for people that wanted, maybe didn't have the equity to or the liquidity to get in there and claim their Series 2. So they were gambling on the public mint,
yeah,
and everyone was worried about getting botted out. So now we know that this friends list was born, but where do you, if you remember that idea coming into play, and how did you go about executing it? Because I think it was something that, hadn't been done at that scale.
yeah.
That
I'm not
just
sure
wasn't
if
the normal
yeah,
way to do it.
yeah. I'm not sure if it had either. I think with everything that we do, and I'm sure there's people that would say probably think that we don't do this, but we try to look at it, ponder it from all angles, to quote a V friend, and try to figure out what's the best possible, user experience, the best possible way to mint, the best possible, everything that we do is trying to, okay, this is what we think is the best possible way. Now, how is this person not going to like it? Or, as we look at it from different angles. And the more we talked about Series 2, I think Gary's on record talking about this of like as at that point as much demand as VeeFriends had, and just the much smaller price point, where it's a lot more accessible for people to get in. We thought that there was going to be a good bit of demand, and we just did not want to have a not to name names, but fill in the blank other projects that have had gas go through the roof, or a bunch of people losing losing their gas and their transaction, and the transaction failing, and kind of all that whole scenario. So tried to figure out what's the fairest, best way for everyone that we can get in there, and them not have to worry about um, gas or bots or contracts or whatever.
Mm. And it was really appreciated at the time, but it's one of those things that even now, like just with the how everything is unfolded, it's one of those things that can be easily forgotten. But like you guys did really from top down did right by the community with that. Like I'm sure it took a lot of work to execute, um, but you really did right by the community, and I definitely want that documented, and hopefully this conversation reminds people of that,
Yeah,
down
appreciate
the
you
road,
saying that.
because it was a big move that didn't have to be made.
Yeah, yeah. Again, that was, we have tried to do the best by our community, and um, also try to innovate in the space as well. Um, that anyone can throw up a page with a connect wallet mint button, and have the bots hit the contract, and um, but trying to innovate, trying to do friends list based off book, just always trying to think through what are ways we can push the space forward technologically, and make it the best for our people.
Yeah, and it was so much fun. Like it was the most fun on Twitter. Like there was so much going on during that reveal, because I
Oh
think people
gosh,
are in spaces like this one. Everyone was looking out for the big characters. Then it was like, all
right?
right, what are all these poses? Like, look at this scene, look at this scene, and then like throwing a glitch, and it's like, what the fuck is going
Yeah,
on? Like, this is just insanity. Like, no,
yeah.
it was amazing. It was so fun.
55,000
Um,
one of ones.
right.
Wild.
So fun, so fun. Um, and if that's not enough excitement, like here comes this VCon, which during all that excitement was forgotten about, and it's like, holy shit, like here's a ticket, here's another NFT, and here's this mega conference where this community can meet each other for the first time. So where, and your role in the tech team, what role did you play in helping execute that? And tell me about the your role building up to that and your experience there.
Yeah, so VCon was really fun. That was a little bit of a moment where, like, hey, we've done all this other stuff, but remember when we told people that these NFTs were tickets to VCon for 3 years? Like, oh, that's actually happening. Um, so it was fun, man. I was very proud of our team. The app, VCon app, just got to overhaul. If you don't have it, you should update or download. It looks cool. The new graphics are pretty sick. Have you updated your app? Did you see it? You
I
haven't.
have not.
I'm offended.
Before I do, what's you're the most official person I could ask this.
Yeah.
Are the contexts from last year okay?
Oh, not only are they okay, my friend, but there's a download all contacts button
Well, let's
for you.
go. Let's
Um,
go.
but anyway, yeah, so a lot of testing with the app, as you can imagine. We were trying to via a ticketing system verify on-chain ownership of an NFT at the time of scanning. So that was cool, and basically just a lot of testing with that. Our shout out Mobile Phil, our dev who built I call it Mobile Phil. That's not his name. His name's Phil. Um, just who built the app, and it was awesome. It was really really fun to see it. Not only to see it work, because that's cool, but also like the the volunteers who did the ticketing from the U.S. Bank Stadium afterwards were like, "Can you guys talk to the Vikings? Can you do their tickets?" I'm not sure I'm not sure if the Vikings want to go to all NFT, but I really appreciate you thinking
That's
that our app, was superior to.
that's amazing. That's really funny. Um, and yeah, as someone that was just there as an attendee, that was like no, one of the number one things that people were talking about, just kind of in passing, in small talk, like love this app, and like every time you exchange contacts, it gave an opportunity to speak on that, because you had that kind of couple seconds, like let me do mine, let me do yours,
Yeah.
and everyone loved it. It just, I think, at least for me, like the first of its kind, and just kind of made the experience that much easier. So, and I just want to, you kind of just gave gave props to, can you say his name again
Oh, it's
for who
Phil.
made it? Phil.
Phil. Yeah, I called him Mobile Phil because he
Mobile
works on
Phil,
the
that's
mobile
right.
apps.
So yeah, on May 25th, 2022, post tweeted out, shout out to Cameron Stew for making our VCon app so seamless, and then you replied, not me, I had very little to do with it, very proud of our team. So, you know like anyone in your ecosystem, really making a team effort, but really, really well executed. Is there anything else you can tease about uh, this coming year's app, or is it all in this new update?
Yeah, there's not a lot on the new update. Just it's it's just kind of info right now. And let's see here. Tease for next year's VCon app. I don't think so. I mean, I just think similar like what we talked about earlier. We listened. Um, a lot of people emailed me after, I was in the Twitter replies a lot after VCon and said when people wrote feedback, I said please email me, Cam at VeeFriends. That goes
Mm-hmm.
for anything. CAM at VeeFriends.com. If you have feedback on anything tech wise, we'd love to hear it. And I think it'll be another awesome app and awesome user experience.
And I think now more than ever is the excitement's brewing again. As as for that, your experience in general, like were you able to enjoy it, or were you just kind of working and on the ground the whole
I would say
time?
the first couple of days we worked a lot at the just kind of troubleshooting and making sure they're the one off cases of people's MetaMask not working or they'd walk up to the gate and they didn't have the app or they just bought it on OpenSea and we'd have to which was pretty crazy. Like some guy some guy in line, which was shout out to the app. Some guy in line was like, "How much are these tickets?" Like, I don't know. Right now, they were going at that point maybe like 500, $600. Um, so there's a guy in line, got on OpenSea, bought it, downloaded our app, linked it, scanned, got in the conference. Um,
That's Web3, baby.
yeah, wild. So yeah, so the first couple days was a lot of that, making sure everybody was set up. But yeah, towards the end, was able to listen to some of the talks and enjoy. And then we got to hang out. We got to hang out as a team that last day, which was really fun too. It's kind of like a big sigh of relief.
Amazing. I've said it on many episodes of the show, and I'll probably say it on many more. I think, we had, at least myself, and I know a lot of people I've talked to, had an expectation of the team and just how nice and kind and welcoming they were, like in person, after, knowing their avatars, knowing them on Discord and through content. But like it was all just totally exceeded by the IRL experience of interacting with you guys. So, that's something I'll never forget. And we're just like everyone else. I'm just super amped for 2023.
Oh man, I'm
Um,
excited already.
is there? I'm not gonna pull strings for any alpha, but is there any kind of component in the plans of 2023 that's going to have you kind of step out of your comfort zones on the tech side, as far as something you need to execute?
Not that I know of yet. That could change. Um, yeah, I don't. They don't. Just kind of sit in my dojo and code and hang with the tech team. So I'm sure they've got
Good.
some crazy plans, but nothing that I can think of right now.
And I mean, now that we're on the topic, like, okay, so we found out, uh, I forget 2 3 days ago now that VCon was in Indy. When do you get that?
When
When
did I
did you
get to
get?
know that?
Yeah,
When you guys do.
really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So it's
for
super
some
tight lipped.
stuff, for some
Hmm.
stuff, yeah. Um, we had heard rumblings of yeah, some potential places and site visits and all that stuff, but it's like it becomes real, like really, it becomes 100% real when I watch the video with you
The
guys,
video.
which is cool. Yeah,
Are you on the team at all that does anything with the animation video? That's a whole
no,
other
that's all. Yeah,
department.
that other other team creative. Yeah, they do all the um,
Okay, I
video
figured
and
as much, but I think
yeah,
that's
they're incredible. The video team, our creative team, our graphics team is so good. It's insane.
yeah, because all now it's talking about Walt Disney. Now he's like in movies and clips that is like he's Walt Disney, like with his Gary B.
Yeah,
So very neat
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
that one was when they put that in our group chat, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a level up.
absolutely, and everything's leveling up. Series 1 or 2, like you could look at anything in such a short amount of time. So, and to you personally, as a V friend, as a member of our community, I saw you were at the Gift Go event with Shaq.
Oh yeah,
How First of all, how was that experience?
it was wild. Shaq is the largest human I've ever seen up close.
He's
He's
a
enormous.
a mammoth.
Yeah. No, it was fun, man. It's fun to. It's always fun to be with the community. Like same vibes as VCon. And um, speaking of leveling up, that event just felt like because we obviously had never done something like that. Just felt amazing, and the facility, the place where it was at was cool, and Shaq and Gary were amazing, and all the people that I got to talk to were great. Um, and then and I was there really just to help troubleshoot the live stream if it on site. So I didn't have a ton to do, but so it was fun to hang with everybody.
Nice. So you got to enjoy yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, going back to Series 1, Series 2 book games, how, if at all, you're comfortable with describing or, disclosing, what did you dabble in, if anything?
Oh man. Dabbled in
I,
Zero and Series One. I've got a lot of test ones. But I have Zero. All right, not Zero. I have one. Gary gave me a reflective Rhino core. Um, Go, which is cool, which is awesome, amazing, very thankful. Um,
do you remember when that was?
when he gave it to me, July maybe. I don't know. That's a good question.
July 2021.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now that you asked me. But yeah, obviously he had mentioned it while we were building the website. Like, I'm gonna give you one after this thing launches. I said, cool, thanks. And then never really thought about it. And then let's see here. He transferred June 7th. Never mind, not July. June 7th. And then randomly Andy was like, "Yo, what's your wallet address?" And I got it. Very
That's awesome.
thankful. I contend that the reflective rhinoceros is the greatest character in all of VeeFriends. Um, so very thankful that I have that one. And then Series 2, I minted um, my evolving of that. I won a friends list spot. And I minted a Common Sense cow on Artist Ave, the one that looks like bleeding a little bit. With like
Nice. I
the
love the
pool of
cow.
the pool of and then I bought a hardworking wombat with the New York background as a remembrance of working hard for Series 2.
Amazing. That's a great collection, and it's always cool. It's such a like a nerdy thing, but it's exciting when like the team members are huge fans and like just like the community, except their job is to work for that
Yeah,
VeeFriends. Like they're you guys are just like us, and I think sometimes we forget that. Talk to me about the reflective rhinoceros.
it's
What's
the
your
best. It's
what's
the
your
best.
take?
So, well, I just think a rhino with the ability to reflect is the greatest. So rhinos, do you know what a group of rhinos is called?
I do not.
It's a crash of rhinos is a
Oh,
grouping of rhinos,
okay. I didn't
and
know
it's
that.
because they can run. I'm going to get these numbers wrong, but you'll get the gist. Something like 40 miles an hour. Um, so like however much how much does a rhino weigh? It's a lot of weight running at 40 miles an hour, but they can only see like 20 feet in front of their face. Hence the name crash, right? They just run into stuff.
Right.
So, so someone with that much power, drive, determination, motivation, but comma also with the ability to reflect on the things that he just saw, did, ran through, I think is a pretty powerful character. That's
I
my thesis on the reflective rhino.
I love that.
How fast can? Yeah, one day I'm gonna do a tweet thread and say, why is reflective rhino the best character? A thread.
I I think it would kill because that's not a character.
Yeah,
You know,
nobody
some
cares about the rhino.
characters you associate with different people in the community, and some characters are put on a pedestal for whatever activation. But the Rhino hasn't really gotten much play, so
One day,
I th- I think
one day,
yeah.
Gary's gonna buy me a pet rhino.
All right, Gary, you heard him.
Yeah.
Um, maybe that'll be a gift number 18 for all the
Yeah.
goats. Just to
Rhinoceros for everyone. Be
um,
hilarious.
amazing, amazing, amazing. So you know it's 20. We've gone through the timeline here. 21, obviously the birth of this thing, and it just went from 0 to 60 in a hot market. 22, you have book games, you have series 2, you have VCon 1, you have turning into a bear market. What regardless of how you pin years 1 and 2, like, is there a word or something you guys are associating with what's to come in 23?
Um, no, I think Andy tweets it a lot. The brick by brick. I think that is what I think of in our job is like, and Gary talks about it too with like you're getting a lot of praise, cool, drown it out. You're getting a lot of hate, drown it out.
Yeah.
It's like market's doing awesome, and everyone in the world and their mother is buying VeeFriends. Cool, we got stuff to do. Like we're building, and like oh the market's terrible and everyone lost their money in FTX. Cool, we're building like brick by brick, day by day. We're trying to build something impactful.
I th- I think that's a very pertinent and timely goal and message. And yeah, I love that emoji. It's one of I think it's in my top emojis now.
Oh really? Yeah, it's a
That
good one.
brick.
I just actually sent him a shirt that said it. Found a shirt that says brick by brick. It's pretty sick.
Oh, nice. Um, so we're talking a lot about the community, and it gets tossed around, obviously internally in our community, and obviously is one of those buzzwords. And the aforementioned years I just mentioned, 21, 22. What does that word mean to you, community?
Oh yeah. Um, I think. What does the word community mean? I think it's I love community. I love our community. All the good and the bad, like the negative, the positive. The people who um think that we could do no wrong and are just like Gary, you're the best. VeeFriends, you're the best. Take that with a grain of salt. It's helpful some days to see that every once in a while, and all the from that one end of the spectrum all the way to the other end of the spectrum of like everything we do is terrible. Um, there's a grain of salt to all of those critiques, as a grain of truth to all of those critiques as well, and so take those in. And I think again back to what I said earlier is like the positive attributes that Gary is trying to build are, I believe, the way life was intended to live, and I think part of that, the life that we are intended to live, is in community. And so whether it's 350,000 people in Discord or like your own circle of people IRL, um, I think that's it's not like a question of like, is community good or bad? It's like, no, it's a necessity. Like, you have to have community, and I think VeeFriends community is one of the best.
I love it. Amazing. I'm obviously a big proponent of that. It's the lifeblood. It's the what makes everything go. Before I start to wrap up for our last segment here, just a couple things.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this earlier in the convo. July 24th, 2022, Gary tweeted, think I should do an event in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh man, I got so
Hmm.
excited. I got so
So
excited
yeah,
when I instantly texted Andy. I was like, please make this happen. He can stay at my house. Um,
and yeah, you weren't. I mean, a lot of people said pretty much the same thing.
yeah.
Um, that definitely got some virality. You know, I don't want to go too into it, but I have my own theses on Charleston as a potential Web3 hub for a lot of reasons. But
Oh,
as
I
a
want to hear this.
well, we have you know a VCon speaker, also a member of our little group on Discord that's building this monstrosity
He is.
down the road from my
Yeah.
house, which
Yeah.
I think, I mean, that you saw the
The drone video.
the
Yeah. I
BTS
haven't
video,
yeah,
right?
I haven't been past it yet. Where is it? Where is he building it?
On CFR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, um, yeah, and that teaser video was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a real thing as we get closer to kind of shaking off this like crazy like flipping arbitrage PFP period into more, okay, let's get serious about this art. Let's get serious about utility and bridging the gap, which includes like going to physical places and
Yeah.
seeing cool stuff and how this works. So I just think it makes sense. The more I'm in conversations locally, more people are working remotely and choosing to live here.
Yeah. It's not a hard
That
choice.
right. So like there's more techie stuff happening,
Yeah.
and what we're I don't know how much you've been plugged into the group, but like there's builders in there too that are trying
Yeah.
to make something happen here on a local level, and that's what Web3 is all about. I'm such a big component of bridging, Web 2, Web 3, IRL, Web 3, just kind of like Gary says, with the whole VCon thing. So I well, number one, I would vote for a Charleston event, but
I will take that under.
I
I will.
think
Just so you know, I will too.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I hope that we kind of build this area up as a draw
Yeah.
for a VeeFriends to do an event here, aside from the beautiful the dining and the
Yeah.
beautiful downtown and the historic
Yeah. The best beaches
components
in
and
the
the beach,
world,
and
best weather in the world. Yeah. Just keep going down
right.
the list. It's everything.
So in short, anyone can stay at Cam's house. You have
Yeah.
mine too. Um, we'll get some Chinese with some VeeFriends,
Yeah. There we go.
fortune cookies.
Oh yeah. Oh man, if you find any in Charleston, let me know. I want to see them.
Do you know anything about that? Because I have zero context.
For the fortune cookies?
Yeah,
Did you see them on? You haven't seen them on Twitter?
I saw a picture, but I just know. I
Yeah.
don't
I
know
just
the
know. There's.
the who, when, where,
I don't
why.
either. I don't either.
Okay.
I just want to find some.
Amazing. So I as we wrap up, I can't thank you enough. Like it's so fun for me as a Gary nerd, VeeFriend, uh, advocate, community advocate. I'm so um, bullish on this project, and I'm so bullish on this community. And talking to people like you is a real fun for me. And I think, and I know a lot of people out there like me, like listening to the origin stories of everyone in the community. So I appreciate your time,
Of
Cam.
course, man. Thanks for
Um,
having me.
Before I head into my last quick segment, is there anyone, and to that point, really appreciate what you do, because there's so many front facing people that get credit, Gary, Andy, and rightfully so, but there's a lot of heroes behind the scenes that aren't front facing, like you and Eric, and people that are working hard, you know under a lot of pressure in these big situations. and don't get the, you know, maybe the attention or the accolades they deserve. So is there anyone that, any name or story, wherever you want to go with this, is there anyone that, deserves to be known a little bit more? And
Oh man, our whole team. Um, that sounds like generic and cliche, but like I seriously have been so impressed with every single person we've hired, every single person we've worked with. Off the top of my head, May. Everyone knows May, but May's the goat. She always wears this hoodie that says underrated, and I get so mad at her because I'm like, you are not. You are, or no, I'm sorry. It says overrated. Like you are not overrated, May. You are the best. You're the best there
mm,
is. But she's just incredible. But yeah, I mean, literally everyone on our team are uh, not only are they really really good at their jobs, but they also embody, like, coming to work every day with a bunch of people that embody patience, kindness, empathy, humility, accountability. It's like it's easy, like it's the best job in the world.
yeah, and you're, I'm sure you know how lucky you are to be in that ecosystem. No, I love that answer. And it's May. Yeah, May always comes up. And for me, out talking to people in the wild, May is like the barometer of how I kind of level up, size someone up in their like VeeFriends knowledge. Like if you know May, like I can talk to you about these kinds of things.
Yeah,
And if you don't know who May is, like okay, I'm going to keep it down here,
that's
more
hilarious.
elementary.
That's a
So
it's a great idea. It's a good.
so yeah,
I'll
it
let her know.
just but yeah, I know in anything I've heard, I think I tried to slide into her DMs. I think I've DM'd with her, but I haven't. I didn't meet her at VCon, but yeah, I've heard nothing but amazing things.
She's awesome. We'll get her on the
So
podcast.
yeah, I'd love to. I think that was my initial right. I think I'd right hook too early. So
Oh, you didn't go for the
tell her I'm
jabs.
not like one of these crazy merch line runners.
Oh
Uh,
gosh, don't remind me of that.
um, No, but in all seriousness, thank you so much, Cam, and I can't wait to hopefully jam with you on a local level.
Yeah, man.
So for this last component of this, I call it micro macro spitfire. So I'm just going to
Okay.
ask you a lot of rapid
Oh,
fire things. You
jeez.
you can go macro, just a quick yes or no answer, or you can pull out the microscope and get really finite and detailed with your answer, whatever you want to do.
Okay, I'm in.
All right, and obviously this is you, Cam, the person. This is NVFA, not VeeFriends advice. Not,
I
this is
like
not
that
coming from the
disclaimer.
company. This
Yeah.
is all right. So, number one, who is someone that needs to be followed if you're just getting into VeeFriends for the first time? On
Hmm. Jeremy Hone, or he just changed his name. Dang it. What's his
Jeremy,
Gianelli?
I think it's
Gianelli?
Gianelli. I
Yeah,
know it's like
I can't say it
Italian.
right. Yeah, Jeremy knows.
Uh, the your favorite teacher you've ever had and one reason why.
Favorite teacher, Miss Perryman. I failed a test in like 5th grade, and my mom took me back to do the extra work, and she wouldn't let my mom come in, and she made me like face her on my own and do it.
It's a great teacher.
Yeah, she's awesome.
At some point in time, the time machine, tiny yogurt, can be traded for what?
An actual time machine.
A secret talent that most people don't know that you have.
Oh wow. I play guitar and I play the drums.
Your favorite '90s movie.
Mm. 90s movie? That's a tough one.
I know.
Is Sandlot 90s?
Yes, I think it's like
Yes.
'92.
Okay, Sandlot.
WWF growing up, yes or no?
100%. I was front row for Raw.
Oh, shut up.
Yes.
What year? Attitude Era
Um
or pre that?
no, I was let's see. I was high school, so like 2000, or like 2000, like right at 2000.
Oh, that's Attitude Era.
Yeah, I slapped Kane.
That's
I was
awesome.
legit front row. We had nosebleed seats, and the we were down in like the main concourse, and the WWF or E, whatever it was at that point, guy was like, "Hey, where are you guys sitting?" like up there. He's like, take these. We got to make it look like it's sold out. So
That's unbelievable. That's
yeah,
really cool.
big
Were
fan.
you like a Rock, Stone Cold? Did you have one guy?
I love The Rock. I still do love The Rock. Loves basically everybody. I love the characters, the physicality, love it all.
Amazing. I feel comfortable asking you this because you had no idea about Indy. So VCon 2024 will be in
Oh,
what city?
whew. Charleston, South Carolina.
Bougie hotel or hiking and camping?
Bougie hotel for sure.
Favorite concert you've ever been to?
Um, Justin Timberlake 2020 experience.
Paper Hands Pony or the Koala 2025?
Oh man, Paper Hands Pony just because there's a better ring to it.
Gratitude Gorilla or Patient Pig?
Oh, love that. I mean, you can only see part of my screen, but I've got the gratitude. Oh wait, gratitude gorilla.
I saw part of your screen.
Yeah,
I can make it out. I can't see the whole
yeah,
thing.
it's cut on normal calls. You can see the GIF on my yeah, gratitude gorilla for sure. Love all about gratitude.
And these next two are going to be a little fun because of the access you have with him. So I'm interested in your answer, especially. Would you rather have a 2 hour group dinner with Gary, maybe you and 9 other people, or a 10-minute one-on-one with him?
Mm. Do I get to pick the other people?
Yes.
I'll go to the dinner.
How do you want people to, if you left VeeFriends, let's say you had, for whatever reason, how would you want to be remembered on the team?
Ooh, man, legacy questions are so good. I would say, um, just desire to be helpful and desire to push us forward brick by brick.
I love it. And lastly, if you could ask Gary one question, what would it be?
Oh man, I would ask him. I'm my brother and I are starting a little side business or two, and I would ask him very specific questions about that because he would. Although actually, maybe I wouldn't because he would probably just tell me to do 4 TikToks a day, and um, but because I know the answers, but yeah, I'd probably that's probably it. I would probably ask him questions about little side hustles.
That's amazing. Well, I'll pull your ear to hear more about that another time. But for now, Cam, I can't thank you enough. This was so fun, and I hope we could do sushi. You gave a nice sushi recommendation
Oh man, dude, you gotta go.
in the Discord.
You gotta go. It's
I
incredible.
would love to. I would love to do that with you.
I'm in.
Um, Cam Stewart, everybody follow him. Is at Cam Stewart.
Yeah, Twitter's Cameron Stew,
Cameron Stew. Excuse
CameronStew.
me.
Yep, and then Instagram CAMSTU555. My original AIM screen name, CamStew555. And I was serious about what I said earlier. If any VeeFriends peeps are listening, if you have any feedback at all, cam@veefriends.com.
Amazing. And you heard it here first, guys. 2024 VCon, Charleston, South Carolina. Amazing. Cam, thanks so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you.